Hey, Christ Church. So excited for this upcoming Sunday as we have our first Sunday here at Bolton Street. So, before we move in, though, I just want to give you some heads up on the several things as we approach this Sunday. In this video, I want to just address the time change that's coming up on Sunday, our arrival and parking here at Bolton Street, the service proper, and some things to be looking out for and to be aware of, the meal afterward, and then finally just a word about children. This is for parents here at Bolton Street this coming Sunday. So as you may know, this Sunday, November the 3rd, not only is Commitment Sunday and our first Sunday here at Bolton Street, but it's also a time change Sunday. So we'll be falling back. Everyone will get an extra hour of sleep. So that's awesome. And you'll be able to, no excuses for showing up on time here for service. So everyone should have becoming rested and for our service together. So be sure to change your clocks. If you don't, you'll just be showing up an hour early, and we may put you to work if you're here. So make sure you're aware of the time change this coming Sunday. So arrival and parking. So when you arrive here at Bolton Street, we have 3 parking lots available for us. What a change of life, right? So in the very back behind the building, there's a gravel parking lot, a sizable gravel parking lot for you to park in. And to the south of the sanctuary, or if you're coming in from Bolton Street to the left of the sanctuary, there's an elongated kind of rectangular paved parking lot there. And then over by the parish hall, if you're looking from Bolton Street to the right of the building, you'll to the right of the facility, you'll see another kind of, there's parking areas there around that circle, that roundabout that goes around that oak tree. And so those are our 3 parking areas. If you're early, if you're here setting up sound, setting up music, if you're here with the altar party, welcome team, prayer team, and you are able, we ask you to park in the back gravel parking lot. We want to fill that up first, so we have any space available for visitors to be in the paved parking spots close to the sanctuary. So if you're here early, park back there. That'll be wonderful. We'll figure out how best to utilize our spaces back there. I think in the coming weeks, we'll probably be spray painting lines for folks to see how to use that space appropriately, or whether we get the most out of it. So please park there. The only accessible entrance for the main level is over by the parish hall. You'll see the ramp; it's right there in the front. And so, folks that need accessibility, whether you need the handicap spots there, or whether you're a large family and you're just struggling to get 4 or 5 kids into the church, feel free to use that area as well to get your family in to the service. Okay, so the service will start at 10:30, promptly at 10:30, and we're going to start outside. So you do not need to come in the sanctuary when you arrive to find a spot to sit. We're going to start outside on the steps of the sanctuary at 10:30. We'll begin, and then we'll process around counterclockwise. We'll go to the parish hall, outside the parish hall, around that side of the building, to the back of the property here, across the gravel parking lot, and then up the parking lot to the front steps again. So we'll have different stations of prayer along the way, and then we'll conclude the outdoor procession where we began at the steps of the sanctuary, and then we'll move in. When we move in, be sure everybody has one of these commitment cards for this Sunday. This is the Commitment Sunday for our Deeper Roots campaign, where we're submitting what we've been prayerfully determined in our heart, what God's calling us to commit over the next 3 years of giving, sacrificial, joyful, radically generous giving. And so you'll have one of these beautifully done campaign commitment cards that Kevin Gerbrandt has designed for us. Such a beautiful job here. So make sure you pick up one of these. If you haven't already, we'll have more provided for you out there. Make sure it's filled out with your name and all the information that's requested here. And then I think I just want to be clear, one point of clarification here. You'll see in this box here, it's the total amount that you're pledging to give or committing to give over the course of the 3 years of our Deeper Roots campaign. That total amount includes not only money that you intend to give in the future, but also money you may have already given. And so be sure that you include the total amount, what you've already given, and what you still intend to give, if that's your case. If you haven't given yet, that's okay. You'll just give everything as just what you intend to give in the future. But if you've been one of the many folks who have already contributed to the campaign, please include what you've already given and what you intend to give as that total for the course of 3 years. We'll have available that Sunday another card like this one here. These are for visitors, for our children, for others. If you maybe don't want to, didn't want to use a commitment card here, you want to use this, and maybe it's just you're not going to commit to financially, but you're going to commit to pray. We have several options here. It says, in response to God's gracious favor, I commit to pray for Christ Church, and in parentheses, even just once. That's for folks, it's the lowest bar for folks who just pray for us once, even in the service. We want everybody to be able to process into the church and have something to give, whether it's the official kind of Deeper Roots commitment card or one of these for our children. There's slots there for children. So parents, pick one up for each of your kids, write their names on it, ask them how they want to commit. They want to commit to pray or give to the Deeper Roots campaign, and have them process down with you and put these in the baskets that will be provided there in the church. When you process into the church, it'll be just like communion. When you come down, you'll give your commitment cards, place your commitment cards in the basket, and then you'll peel back around and then sit in the pews, find a place and sit in the pews where you'll be for the service. For those in our congregation who are unable to join us for the procession around for mobility reasons or other reasons, what should you do? When you come at 10:30, you can enter the sanctuary, and in the very back of the sanctuary, we'll have chairs lined up against the back wall. You can sit there and wait and join the procession if you're able to when it begins to come into the back of the church down front. So we'll have chairs there in the back of the sanctuary. They may be in the narthex, but I think it's going to be the back of the sanctuary for you to sit and wait for the procession to enter. And when it has entered, feel free to join wherever you're able, or with your family that might be in the procession. You can join them from the rear of the sanctuary and then process down the center aisle. If that's too much for you, then you can find a seat in the sanctuary and then find your place where you'll be during the service, and please enter in that way. The meal afterward, our feast team, our newly founded feast team this year here at Christ Church is putting together this meal for us. Many of you are already bringing items. Instructions for on when to put that and where to put those will be in parish notes and those sorts of, so look for details there. I really just want to address, how do we get down to the fellowship hall? So there will be 3 ways of accessing the fellowship hall from the sanctuary. One, you can go out the narthex doors, out where you entered the church, and you can go down the parking lot and enter. There's an entrance at the base of the parking lot, the bottom of the parking lot. There's an entrance to the fellowship hall there. If you're accessing the fellowship hall from internal to the building, there are 2 flights of stairs that go down and into the fellowship hall. One is out the narthex. So if you're exiting the sanctuary through the narthex, it's to your right. If you're coming into the narthex from outside, it's to your left. You'll see the door there. You can go down those stairs. There's 2 doors you'll have to go through, but that'll put you off right into the fellowship hall. The second way of accessing the fellowship hall internally is if you're in the sanctuary, in the nave where you sit, and you're looking at the sanctuary proper at the chancel area, you'll see double doors to your right. So if you want to exit after the service, if you want to exit through that way, those doors will put you right into where the entrance is at the offices, and there's a flight of stairs right there. You can go down those stairs, and when you exit those stairs in the ground level, turn left, and then the fellowship hall is right there. You can't miss it, right there straight ahead of you if you turn left coming out of the stairwell down below. Again, folks there from our feasting team will be available to give you directions on what we'll be doing. We'll have a time of prayer before we start eating there. And then finally, let me just address children here at this new property at Bolton Street. One, let me begin by saying there's going to be many things, not just the issue of children, but other areas of our common life together where that we're just going to be living into when we get over here. So flexibility is what we need. All of us need to be flexible for this next year or so as we learn how to live into this new space, learn our best practices and policies and procedures around life here at Bolton Street. But let me just address children here for this coming Sunday. I think there's a few things we need to know. One is there's an entire section, if you were here for our Deeper Roots campaign gatherings, you went through the tour. There's an entire section, educational wing in the bottom level, with probably 12, 13, 14 classrooms. That whole section children are not permitted to go there. So parents need your help to make sure that your kids understand that. And we're going to probably block those off, lock the doors that give access to that. So that whole area, children are not permitted over there in those classrooms. That's a safety issue for us, not just physical safety, but just safety even around, we just had our foundations day apart here, and we did our child protection policy training. There's just a lot of building here. And so God forbid anything were to happen, but we want our kids to be within sight or within where we know where they are. And so parents, please be aware where your children are. This is not just a free roaming area throughout the entire building. It's not a play area. So please keep your kids, give them expectations when they come, that they're not to be roaming around the building as a whole. During our meal, we'll have our playground. Our play set has been moved over. The playground should be ready by Sunday, Lord willing. If it is, our children are welcome to be on the playground. We're just asking that parents, if your children are out there, that at least one parent is there with your children to make sure everything is going well and going okay there in the playground area. So if you have children in the playground, just one of the parents of those children need to be out there with them on the playground during that time, if you want to do that after our time of fellowship, after the meal. And then lastly, I want to just give a heads up to parents, begin prepping your kids for this. One of the things we just didn't have at Queen Street were parking lots. And so we have them here. We did really well as a church of kind of keeping kids on the green areas on the inside part of the walkways. And so here we just want to be mindful, parents particularly be mindful, and adults be mindful if you see children kind of running around the parking lot areas. Be sure, let's let them know that they shouldn't be running into the parking lots. And so we want to make sure that no kids pop out from behind cars and someone's coming down the parking lot and doesn't see them. We want to avoid that as much as possible. And that's also for everyone driving. Just be mindful. Please drive slowly on campus here, on the parking lots, so that we don't have any accidents of that nature. And so thank you all for that. I know we'll all be looking out for our kids. I know parents will be prepping our children for here, whether it's the places they shouldn't be roaming or outside, making sure they stay away from the parking lots. We do this out of a sense of desire of safety for our kids, and we'll have a wonderful time together. I'm so excited for our time together this coming Sunday. Be praying for us as we approach that, praying that everything gets set in place. There'll be things that aren't done yet that'll be done in the weeks after our first Sunday, but we're going to have a wonderful time here together on Sunday. God bless you, and I'll see you then.